Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm in a bit of a different place, as you might expect. I'm not here to see only cars, I'm here to see like everything automotive. As you will see, I'm at the Sinsheim Museum here in Germany, which is about 100 kilometers away from Stuttgart. And here you can actually find everything from U-boats to huge planes like the Tupolev and the Concorde, and tanks and everything about the World War. So keep in touch, keep watching, and you'll see everything that Sinsheim has to offer. Closer look of the Concorde and the Tupolev, huge planes. In case you were wondering how the cockpit of a Boeing 747 looks like, well, this is how. This is actually the Mercedes 770K, which actually stands for 7,665 cubic centimeters. Huge engine, and develops around 225 horsepower. Really big car. Here's something interesting. The ancestor of the G-Wagon, 6x6 actually. This is a 1938 Mercedes G4 with 6 wheels. So Mercedes were thinking about a 6-wheeled off-roader since the beginning of time, let's just say, since the World War. And they also made one, but nobody said anything about it. But it looks cool, and it's a convertible, and it has 6 seats. And like a modern G-Wagon, it's powered by a V8, 5.4 liter V8. If you thought your engine was big, check this thing out. This is the biggest V12 engine I've ever seen. It's from a cargo ship actually. And this, I think, is one of the cylinders. By the way, this thing right here is the crankshaft from this engine. Look at it, it's huge. Actually, this V12 is from a submarine, from a U-boat. Huge V12 engine. It was used by the Austrian Navy in 1918. It's actually a diesel, and it develops 1,200 horsepower and weighs 26 tons. This is one of the biggest steam engines around. It's from 1939. Develops 2,500 horsepower, and it's 26 meters long. It's pretty big. Next to Mercedes 600. how good it looks. Cannot beat any museum without noticing the 300 SL. Here's the coupe version. Another one, white with blue accents. And next to them, a BMW, actually Daysetta, the smallest BMW I think ever made, with its unique front door hinge. This is actually the car that I do fit in, contrary on other brands that I actually don't, and much more modern. Cannot overlook the beautiful lines of the Lamborghini Miura. This is actually the 400S, one of the later models. Next to it, a Ferrari 308 GTB. Being a handful of nice cars, next to them, the Ferrari Dino 246 GT. Classic Dino, named after Enzo Ferrari's son. This is actually a Maybach, built for speed. It has an engine from an airship, from an actual plane, big plane actually, 25,000 cubic centimeters, and develops 300 horsepower. It's all hand built, as you can see. The body is shaped by hand. You can see the imperfections in it, but anyway, chain driven. It was actually clocked at 200 kilometers an hour, and they say it can go much faster than that, but it's actually limited by the courage of the driver. So imagine 200 kilometers an hour there with nothing to protect you against the wind, and not to mention a crash. Huge engine. Why not? Here we have the DMC DeLorean, which is actually the first version of a car made of stainless steel. So Elon Musk was not the first one to try this. Here we have a bunch. We have the whole history of Formula One, from the first ones all the way to the last ones. For example, here we have the McLaren Mercedes MP412. Sonax car, and the Shell Ferrari. And in front, the Petronas BMW. Next to the beautiful Aston Martin, we have here the Lamborghini Huracan. Most of you don't know it, but it was built in 1978 after the Miura. It looks really cool. A bit different from you expect from a Lamborghini, but they first wanted to build GTs, then got to supercars. And right here, the Tommaso Pantera, the ultimate version of it, with the wide body kit and the huge wing in the back. Here we have, as many of you already know from Top Gear, the Brutus. One of the biggest displacement cars ever built, with a warplane engine. You've seen it on Top Gear, you've seen Clarkson drive it. It's a beast. It's really big. It actually has 47,000 cubic centimeters, so 47 liters of displacement, and produces 750 horsepower. And guess what? It weighs 2.5 tons. Remind you of anything? It's the modern M5. Well, actually, this is not a hybrid, so it's all NA. So you can get 750 horsepower without a hybrid. And trust me, I'd rather have this than the new M5. And still, it's a bit lighter than the new M5, so it's a win-win for the Brutus. This is the tuning side of the museum. Actually see a turbocharged GTI Mark II Golf. Doesn't look bad, but they can do better than this. So if we move on a little bit to the right, we have this modified GTI on air suspension, on air rides, which doesn't look that bad. This is actually a Golf Mark I, but heavily modified, as you can see. Here, another Mark II, which looks cool. Actually, the paint is really nice. It's a deep gray, silver actually. With a bit of wheel arches. And right here, the Corrado VR6. This is from 1994. The 3-liter V6 engine. Doesn't look bad at all. This is a heavily modified Mark II Golf with a white body kit and a very deep candy red. The scoops and the deep dish wheels. It's actually from 1985. Has a V6 engine with around 250 horsepower. Not bad for such a little car. Small weight. Here a Mark IV Golf. But the modification actually go mostly on the visual side. With wide body fenders, a roll cage inside, some Recaro seats, bucket seats. Doesn't look bad, but the engine's still a 2-liter with 150 horsepower. Here we have a bunch of Opels. The Cadet. Very tiny car, but quite angry, especially the race version. Not a big fan of Opel, actually not a fan of Opel. But I can say that the Opel Manta actually looked quite interesting. It was a very cool car in its time. Here we have two of them. This one a bit more modified. Doesn't look bad. And this one a bit heavily modified. With just a little bit of white body, actually a lot of it. I think it's a little, about 8 centimeters there, white body, compared to the standard one. Moving on from the Formula Ones to something special. The Mercedes SLR McLaren. This is actually the 722 GT. Looks really cool. With the carbon fiber flares there. Look at the side skirt, so it goes under the car. Because down there is the exhaust. This huge wing, specifically built for the track, with downforce in mind. And next to it, a CLK DTM, really cool car. So you have in normal you have the normal CLK, then you have the AMG, then you have the AMG Black Series, and then you have this, the ultimate one, the DTM, well known for the wheel arches, specific to this car. Looks really cool. This CLK is actually equipped with a 5.5-liter naturally aspirated V8. They also had an option with a 6.2-liter, but on the later models. This is actually the Maurer C87, but you can see a distinguishable front end here. Yes, it's actually a BMW, but a BMW art car. And this one, as you can tell, it's a pretty light car, all fiberglass body and stuff in carbon fiber. But this thing develops 1000 horsepower from a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, which is actually remarkable. Of course, it was made for the track, so the engine doesn't have to last too long, but still, 1000 horsepower from a 2-liter. Coming from Mercedes to one of my favorite brands, Lamborghini. And here we have the LM002, the off-road version of Lamborghini, their first SUV, as you might call it, back in the 80s. This was actually one of the most controversial SUVs ever built. Well, Lamborghini did it anyway. It's actually powered by a V12 naturally aspirated carbureted engine. Actually, the engine used in this, the Lamborghini Countach. So same engine from this supercar was used in an SUV, which only begs the question, how much did that thing consume in gas? Well, actually, it consumed about 100 liters per 100 kilometers, so pretty efficient. Here we have the MV Agusta. Pretty nice bike. First saw it back in 2000 when it got out. From Lamborghinis and their exclusive cars to Ferraris. We have here 3 of the most beautiful Ferraris ever made, I would say. This one is a Testarossa with its naturally aspirated V12 engine sitting in the back. Moving on to the 550, to the Ferrari 550, which is actually their GT with a front engine, with a front-mounted V12 engine, and from that to their first supercar, I should say, the F40, which doesn't need any other presentation. You all know the F40, which is turbocharged V8 engine, being one of the wildest cars they ever did. Full carbon fiber, lightweight in mind, supercar credentials. Here we have the Blue Flame, as it calls. Up there you can see the actual parachute they used to stop the car. This is the world speed record car, which they used in 1970 to break the world speed record, achieving 1014 kilometers an hour with this thing. As you can see, the whole body is made from metal panels riveted together. It's like a big ship. But it looks really cool. Having in the back 2 rear offset wheels being very on the outside of the body, and in front 1 larger wheel in the middle for stability. Very aerodynamic. Check out this huge thing. This is actually built in the US. Well, of course, because this thing in Germany would definitely not be legal. It's actually built by a company named Detroit Hot Rod, and they managed somehow to build this huge engine, which is actually a V16, 18.6 liter diesel engine, Detroit diesel. And it's twin turbocharged, 1 turbocharger here and 1 on the other side. Look at the size of these things, they're huge. It develops 800 horsepower, and I don't even want to know how much torque. It doesn't say, but I'm thinking it's pretty much. Look at the size of the calipers on this thing. Sitting on leaf springs, and truck wheels, because, well, you need a lot of wheel to move this thing. It's big, really big. Dually sized wheels on the back. Remaining here with the US themed hot rods. Here we have another rat rod, actually. Zombies Revenge, as it's entitled. Looks pretty interesting. And it's a Targa. This is actually a stack of old 60s American cruisers. From Oldsmobile to Buicks. Here, a 1986 monster truck. It's actually powered by a 7-liter V8, developing 500 horsepower. Look at the differentials on this thing. Also leaf springs, dual shocks all over, and rear wheel steering. As the modern cars, these things have had them since 1980s. So they can maneuver these huge things easily around the track. The 1930s Ford Model A hot rod remade into this thing with a Chevy V8 5.7 liters developing 300 horsepower. Pretty cool. Check out this thing. It's actually a Jeep CJ, but built from completely out of wood by a carpenter in the US. And he actually installed a V8 engine in it. As you can see, even the chassis. Here we have the Corvette generations, and the C5, and the C4, and even the C3. And if we move on a little bit further, original Viper. Also here at the museum. RT10 Viper. They also apparently added the C8 here. Not a bad, but it's not actually a museum piece. It's quite recent. And here, the original Hummer. Actually the Humvee, the military version of the Hummer we know. Here, the Cadillac XLR. It's actually the convertible version of the Cadillac CT. Cannot pass by and not notice this 2005 Ford GT with a V8 supercharged engine, 5.4 liter. It's actually the anniversary of Ford's 100th year of production in 2005. This side you see here, it's everything about the war. All the war machines, tanks, guns, planes, everything. The whole history is right here. How the ejection seats looked back in the wartime. And this is actually an engine from a Panzer tank. As you can see here. This right here is a 12-cylinder Mercedes-Benz plane engine. 68 liters, developing around 2,000 horsepower. Sherman tank, one of the most important tanks during the war. It's quite big, and next to it is this huge thing. You can see what it's on the inside. Look at this huge engine. This is actually a diesel engine with 42 cylinders, built by the Soviet Union, by the Russians, back in the 60s and 70s to power their ships. And it actually develops 4,000 horsepower. Imagine that kind of power. Wonder what kind of torque levels does it have. Anyway, pretty impressive engine. And get this, this thing actually consumes 680 liters of diesel fuel per hour. So, you think your Prius is efficient? It is compared to this thing. Check out these tanks. I don't know which model this thing is, but look at the size of the bullets, of the rounds. Look at this thing. I'm almost 2 meters tall, and this is way higher than I am. This is way taller. Imagine shooting with one of these things. This is actually the Panther tank. It's a 45-ton tank. Not bad. Uses 88 millimeters rounds. So quite big. Steamrollers here, driven by steam. This is the actual definition of a steamroller. Those are big, but this is huge. This thing is way too big. Look at the drive. Look at the This is the outside area of the war machines. Here's the Panzer T-34, Panzer M24. This thing is the M26. Interesting. And the M47. They get bigger and bigger, don't they? Big guns, M74. This thing. Turrets, artillery, missile launchers. Pretty big missile launcher here. By the way, it's really cold outside. In Germany in January, not very fun. The helicopter used by the army, but I'm not sure exactly which one is it. It's the M8. Personnel vehicles. And a huge cannon. Not size rounds it fires, but it's pretty big. M40, Skoda here. Actually, this is a Skoda. Cool.